YouTube, what's going on? She got Professor Smell Good, and we back, man. How you guys doing? Hope all is well with you guys, man. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. Hope you guys are prosperous. As I mentioned in the last video before, I hope you guys are tapping into your gifts. I don't care where you're working at, KFC, McDonald's, working in a factory, um, transportation service. Use your gift there. Use it wherever you are. Eventually, it'll pay off for you. But anyway, we're going to be talking about we're not going to be talking about gifts and things, motivation. We're going to be talking about some oils today. Yes, we're going to be talking about some oils today. So what I want to talk about is, let's talk about which ones are better, imports or domestics. A lot of people, they say, okay, well, imports are the best because they're much more stronger, more richer in quality, last longer, and there's some truth to that. And some people say, you know what, man, I don't like the way the imports smell. I'd rather stay smelling with. I'd rather stay wearing the domestic oils. I heard a lot of people say this. They want the Gucci, and they want all of that, right? Even though there are some imports that have cologne smells, but most people like, I don't want those imports. They too strong for me. It's an interesting perspective because if you just stick with your own narrative that, okay, well, imports is better, domestics is better, then, for me, Professor Smellgood, I'm still a student. So I'm still, regardless of how little I know, I'm still learning something. So as opposed to just giving my opinion about which one is better to them, I'd rather just listen to both parties. I'd rather listen to both parties. I want to see, what's your perspective on it. I want to see what's your perspective on it, and then I just use, what you gave me, what you told me, what you taught me, and I use what you taught me, and I just merge the two, and I just formulate my own conclusion, and which I'm going to be talking about now. Okay, so which one is better, imports or domestics? It depends on three things. Three things it depends on. Number one is, how does it smell to you? Like when you open up the cap, when you take the cap off the bottle and you smell it from the top, do you actually like the smell? That's number one, because you have to enjoy it too. Part of that perfect fragrance, it has to, number one, the first rule is you have to enjoy it. That's number one. Number two is that you have to actually put it on, right? Staying power. Put it on, put it on your wrist. Like, does it coincide with your pH balance? And what I mean by that, body chemistry, what I mean by that is, does it actually project well on your skin? Pulse points, body chemistry, pH balance. Does it last a long time? Does it stick? When you put it on, if it's a loud fragrance, does it smell faint, even though it's a loud fragrance? If it's a loud or rich fragrance, and when you put it on, it's faint, that's an indication that it did not coincide with your body chemistry. Because if it did, it would project louder, just like the fragrance. It's kind of like your body chemistry toned down the fragrance. It didn't coincide with your body chemistry, right? So did it coincide? Like when you put it on, and I tell people all the time, like, they ask me, how do you know if a fragrance coincide with your body chemistry? When you put it on, the moment that you put it on your skin, it stays the same strength, and 40 seconds to 5 minutes later, it's still there like you just put it on. That's an indication. And it did alter. Because obviously it's going to eventually alter, but it's going to alter because what you're smelling is the top notes when you first put it on. So that top note is supposed to still be smelled on your skin. It shouldn't alter until like maybe hours later. Then you smell the heart notes and the base notes, right? There's no way that if you put the fragrance on and it's supposed to be a rich fragrance and you put it on and 30 seconds later it's gone. For one, it's probably not even good quality. That's number one. But also it's possible that it just didn't coincide with your body chemistry. Very possible. The thing, let me just say this, man. The thing about fragrance, about perfume, the science of perfume and studying perfumery, it humbles you. Learning about fragrance, it humbles you, man. Because you think you know something, you really don't know anything. I hear people all the time like, yeah, man, you try to sell them some fragrance. Yeah, I got some oils already, man. I got a lot of it. I know all about this stuff. You sound foolish, man. This is an ocean that never ends, man. This science of perfumery, fragrances, it's a science that never ends. I mean, it's an ocean that never ends. Excuse me. Well, it is kind of like a science that never ends too, but it's an ocean with no edges, man. It's never end. You're gonna drown yourself swimming into a body of water like this. There is no shore. There is no island. It continues. So that's number two. How does it project on your skin? Like, does it project well? Number three is, do people actually say that it smells great on you? The people say when you put it on, how many compliments do you get? What's the response of the people? When you put that fragrance on, and people be like, wow, women like, excuse me, I no disrespect, but you smell amazing right now. What are you wearing? Check mark. God coming to you. God always say, no homo, bro. No homo, man. I ain't on that stuff, man. Bro, you smell good, man. Check mark. That's another check mark. That's an indication. This is what I want you to do. When you wear a fragrance, start taking notes, mental notes, or document the notes in your phone and your Samsung notes or Android notes, whatever, or some type of notes inside of your iPhone, whatever. Or write the notes down. If you're a person old school, you like to write stuff down, write it on paper, do that. Take notes. What fragrance does these three? What fragrance has all of these three? Or what fragrance have one or two? Or what fragrance has one, two, and not three? Write it down. So here's another one. Number three is when you put the fragrance on, I already said it, the response to the people. When people say you smell great, that's an indication because you can have a fragrance that is expensive and it's really not, it's expensive and you spend $500 on a fragrance and it smells nice on somebody else, right? But you put it on, then it smell like toilet water. And it smell like toilet water. I mean, I don't care how much money you spent on it. It don't. People have to smell the fragrance on you. So when people say, "Man, I don't like the way that smells on you," I got a story for you. It's a brother, one of my Muslim brothers. He was telling me a story about deer musk, right? And so he said, because deer musk is a lot of people use deer musk to like for longevity of the fragrance, make it last longer. So he said he bought some deer musk. He said because he heard deer musk supposed to have like aphrodisiacs or whatever. Um, and so he put it on, and lo and behold, what happened? He said if he came around somebody and he was smelling, the guy was like, "Man, that smelled like somebody took a urine. It smelled like somebody peed." So he thinking to himself like, "It ain't me. I got this deer musk on." And so he went around somebody else, and somebody else said the same thing, and he realized that fragrance that he was wearing, it didn't coincide with his body chemistry. He clocked out and he went home. He washed that fragrance off. So even though that fragrance probably smelled great on somebody else, it didn't coincide with his pH balance. That makes a difference. You know what I'm saying? So you have to put the fragrance on. I don't care how much you say, okay, well, this scent is $400 or $500, but if it smells like cow manure, who want to be around somebody that smells like cow manure? I don't care how much money you spent on the fragrance. If it doesn't smell pleasant on you, that gives you a bad reputation. I'll tell you another story. I bought an African musk one time from a brother. It wasn't weak. It wasn't watered down anything, but I bought an African musk from a fragrance. African musk from a brother. Man, that's been over like 13 years ago. And I was working for a brother named Abdul Malik. If he's watching this, brother, salam alaikum wa rahmatullah, man. I ain't seen in a minute, man. Miss you, akhi, love you, man. But anyway, he was I was working for the brother, Spider-Man window cleaning. And so when I was working for the brother, he was telling like, he was giving me my list of all of the places to clean the windows or whatever. Wintertime in Detroit, cold. And so I put the African musk on, and then after I got done, my runs for the day, I got done cleaning the windows for the day. He asked me, he said, no, actually, it was before. It was before I actually went out for that day. He was with me, like in the car with me, talking to me, like pretty much going over what I was supposed to do for the day. And he was like, brother, I got a question for you. I was like, sure. He said, is that oil that you got on? I was like, yeah, it's African musk. And I mixed African musk with two other fragrances, two other musk, right? Amber white and Egyptian musk. And he was like, brother, that smelled like that fragrance make you smell like you musty. I was like, for real? He was like, yeah. I was like, I never wore that blend again. You can try to blend, you can, try it yourself. I'm quite sure you probably get some great responses from it. But for me, back then, he was like, and I never wore that again. I never wore it again. So my point of reference is that you got to put it on, man. You got to put the fragrance on. You got to see how it coincides with your body chemistry. You have to see what is the response from the people. You have to see what is the response from the people when you wear that specific fragrance. Because obviously they have to be the one to give you the compliments. You wear something just because somebody else got it on because it costs a lot, man. It may not even smell great on you. Good example. I talked about this before. Africans, they got a real strong body odor. You know what I mean? Creed Aventus it won't smell well on them. It won't smell good. It just won't smell good on them. You have to give them, they would actually, like that deer musk on them would probably smell great. That deer musk that didn't work on my Muslim brother with the Africans, that deer musk would probably smell great. No disrespect to them. It's just everybody have a different pH balance. When you eat different types of foods, it actually formulates your pH balance. You follow what I'm saying? I understand now. I used to wonder why Indians always wear these sweet jasmine fragrances. Like, this is a grown man, but just like I said, the science of perfume, it humbles you. When you're learning about it, it humbles you. So I realized, I said, it makes sense. They eat so much spice. Sweetness has to be a balance for it. You follow what I'm saying? You can't eat a lot of spice and then wear a lot of spice. That's too much spice. It's the yin and the yang. It's kind of like, okay, well, it's hot. If it's too hot, right, nobody wants to come outside. There has to be a coolness that is a balance. And that's where we bring something like springtime, right? And we bring something like, okay, fall. Like, okay, well, it's cool, but it can't be too cool. If it's too cold, nobody want to come outside. If it's too hot, nobody want to come outside. So the same thing, same analogy, man. It's like, and I said, okay, it makes sense now. Man, them Indian Bengali brothers, they love jasmine. That sweet, floral, they love it. Brothers with the thobes on be Wakufis, jasmine out, man. Anyway, I'll give another example. I think I talked about this before in my previous videos years ago. I remember I was about to go on, I was walking past a bank, walking past PNC Bank, and right in Hamtramck, Michigan. And it was, I think it was a Polish guy. It was a Polish guy. He had on some, I swear that I thought for a fact that it was every bit of Amber White. But when I tell you it smelled exactly just like Amber White, it smelled exactly just like every bit of Amber White. And I don't even know, did he just put the fragrance on? If it's in the top notes part, or he's in the area, or he's just wearing the base notes at the moment, or he's wearing the middle notes, the heart notes. I don't know. I don't know whether he just put it on or it's been on for 4 hours. I don't know, right? I don't know the projection time. So, but I asked him, I said, excuse me, no disrespect, man, but what you got on, man? It smells great. It smells like Amber White, man. You wearing Amber White? He was like, no, that's Aqua di Gio. It didn't smell nothing like Aqua di Gio. It smelled every every bit of Amber White. And he's Polish. That's interesting, though, man. That you can put on Aqua di Gio and it smells like Amber White on you. I got a new scent that I just made. I'm not going to say it, but it's a new scent that I just made. It's a pheromone. Put the fragrance on, man. The fragrance changed. When I first put it on, right? It smelled exact clean, just like the actual fragrance, right? And it was trailing all day. And then when I got my haircut, like probably 2 hours later, the smell changed and it went to a fragrance that I made over 15 years ago called Jannah, Paradise. Paradise is one of the first fragrances that I ever made, my first blends I ever made. After 2 or 3 hours, it changed and it went exactly to that smell. And it just threw me off. And I was like, yo, what's going on here? How is that even possible? I mean, think about that. The same exact fragrance I made many years ago. How is it that this fragrance on my pH balance started to whiff, humidify, and project a fragrance that I made 15 years ago? What's the coincidence in that? I was blown away. And then after a while, it went back to normal. Went back to the normal clean fragrance. And what's interesting, I learned something new about the fragrance as well. Is that it stayed on my clothes for a long time, my hoodie for a long time. And I was wearing it the other day, and my hoodie, and it smelled like Curve. So within like maybe a week, on my clothes, on my hoodie, the smell changes. And I said, When I said smell, it smelled exactly like the spray of the Curve. And I was like, wow, mind blown, man. Mind blown. But so I'm saying all that to say the best fragrance for you is actually the fragrance that has a combination of all of those three. It smells great, right? It projects very well on your skin. And everybody say that it smells great, even if it doesn't cost 200. It doesn't cost the price of $200, $100, $75, $80 for a little 3 ml bottle of oil, right? If it projects and it smells great and it lasts long, you get a lot of compliments. If it does that better than oud, that's the one for you. That is the one for you. You smelled it, you like the smell, everybody else like it, and it lasts a long time. How could you argue with that? How could you argue with that? You can't argue with that, right? You know what I mean? And it was something else I was gonna say. Mm, it was something else I was gonna. It slips my mind, but yeah, man. You just now. Oh yeah, let's talk about the imports because now the imports they are more. A lot of the imports. Here's another thing I want to talk about. Okay, so alhamdulillah. So imports, because a lot of people they think that imports, right? Domestics, imports is by default better because more expensive. Let me just tell you, there's two types of imports and there's two types of domestics. The two types of domestics, you have domestics that are synthetics, which means that there is some chemical made ingredients that smells just like essential oils, the organic essential oils. Like for example, instead of jasmine, you have geranium, which is that's the chemical liquid essential oil that smells just like jasmine. But it's not jasmine. It's not the organic real jasmine, but it smells just like it, right? And it projects just like it. It's just only one thing. The organic has the pheromones or the aphrodisiacs, and it has the chemical reactions, the scent reactions, right, in them. But the synthetic ones, they don't. They just have the smell, right? because because the essential oils, they have all of the nutrients and nutrients and the minerals, right, that in those plants, which, you know what I'm saying, when you break it down and you distill it, right, they still is in the oil. It's just in a smaller form. You have that little 3 ml, have a lot of nutrients, have a lot of vitamins. Everything is in there. So when you put the oil on and you put it into your body chemistry or whatever, boom, you're gonna smell that. Now, I mean, not excuse. Now you're not going to smell that, but it's going to have some type of reaction with your body in some type of way, and there will be some type of hidden interaction between you and the people that is far beyond smell, if that makes sense to you. Far beyond smell. It's like, because the plants have a life. Those chemical liquids that they make in the companies, geranium, that stuff don't have life. It's a chemical. It's man-made. Plants have life. You taking something that have life, right? And you making a essential oil out of it. Those minerals that make that plant alive, you still putting that on your skin, and there's minerals in your body. Think about that. Those minerals in your body, right? Those vitamins in your body that coincides with those minerals that you put in your body, and vitamins that you put in your body from that fragrance, they coincide. It creates something that is hidden. It creates a reaction between you and people that is hidden. It's far beyond the nose, man. We think fragrance, the science of perfume is that's the nose. Listen, it's far beyond the nose, man. You got fragrances like lavender. It got some things in it. It got some type of nutrients, vitamins, or whatever in it that relaxes you and makes you want to fall asleep. You got all type of things that manipulate things. You got, like, for example, ginger. Ginger has the power of it's like a pain. It's a natural pain reliever. It's a natural pain reliever. I was telling this guy one day. This is when I was selling my oils in Detroit. I was talking to a brother, talking to a guy, and he was like, "Man, I got I messed up my ankle real bad, right?" And he had a cast on, and he was like, "Man, they giving me some Vicodin. They gave him some Vicodin or Norcos. They gave him Norcos for like a pain pill, right? Pain relievers, right?" And so he's like, "Bro, I don't even want to take this stuff, man." He said, "I don't like the way it makes me feel." He said, "But it takes away the pain." So I told him, I said, just eat raw ginger. Just like the strong smell, swallow it and just spit the rest part out. But just that the juice part, drink that. Even if it burns, drink that. Came back to me a week later, a couple days later, he was like, "Brother, listen, man, I just want to," he came back and said, "Bro, I want to thank you, man." He came back to me. He still had the cast on, but he was walking better. But he came back to me. He said, "Brother," he shook my hand. He said, "Brother, I want to thank you for that." He said, "That worked." He said, "Them pills, I threw them away." He threw them away. It's it's a medicine. And that's another part. We don't understand that these organic essential fragrances, there's medicine in them. Medicine that you feel, medicine that you think that you may not feel at the moment, but it's working, right? It's working. You follow what I'm saying? And it's like I say, it's far beyond the nose. And a brother told me something one day. He said, the synthetic fragrances, right? He said, and I'm gonna get back on top. He said synthetic fragrances. He said, you smell it from the outside, it's real strong. He says, but the organic ones, organic fragrances, he said they're not like that. He said they're not strong like that. He said when you smell it from the outside, it ain't really that. You can smell it, but it ain't that strong. He said the organic fragrances, it does most of the projection to the other person. And I was like, wow, that's deep. You don't even smell it. You don't even smell it. Get you a natural patchouli and put it on and just walk around people. Just walk around people and just see what I'm talking about. A natural one. Essential oil. and just walk around people and see what I'm talking about. Put you on a natural lavender and just walk around people and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's some type of powers in it, man, that is almost unexplainable. So you have synthetics and you have synthetics and you have organics, right? With the domestics, you have some domestics, man, that are organics that are pretty good, that actually work better than some organics, some import organics. Because imports really just means that they're coming from another country. That's all it means, imports. You know what I'm saying? And so here's another thing. It depends on the climate. The climate plays a big part as well. Because listen, that's a false notion when they say, okay, automatically by default, imports are always better. That's not true. I feel like when it comes to, like for example, Florida is the best place for oranges, right? So if a person want to make a citrus essential oil, grapefruit, because obviously if oranges grow well there, then grapefruit, bergamot, lemons, lime, all of that should grow well there as well, right? If you buy some oil, some essential oil that comes from oranges from, let's say, Ohio, I guarantee you that the oranges, the essential oil that comes from the oranges from Florida is going to be far more superior. Why? Because of the climate. The climate. That makes a big difference. It's a climate. That makes the big difference. So in Africa, you may have a place where you may buy some fragrance, you may get essential oil that come from someplace in Africa, and you may have a place right here in America that has a better climate for that specific plant that makes that essential oil, that specific fruit that makes an essential oil, that specific vegetable that makes an essential oil. You may have a place right here in America that has the perfect climate for it and not overseas. Because here we have the four seasons is beautiful here in the US. Winter, spring, you know what I mean? I was told something. I was told that pomegranate or pomegranate, however they pronounce it. I was told that that's a winter or fall type of fruit. That's what I was told. Allah knows best. But if that's the case, let's say if that's the case, right? If you grow some pomegranate, let's say in a place like, let's say for example, like Saudi Arabia, that doesn't get cold like places like Michigan. But let's say this pomegranate, it thrives the best in places where it's very, very chilly, like wind chill, very cold, right? That means, right, that that place, wherever has the best climate for that specific fruit to give it the best potential, it will also have the best essential oil. It will have the best fragrance oil. And that's why you gotta understand something. That's why perfumers, like the guys that make fragrances, the sprays, the perfumers, the chemists, you have to understand that when they make a specific fragrance, they don't just start in the US. They go and they scout all of the different places around the US that have the best ingredients all over, from Africa, right? From here, from France, right? From Ireland. Wherever that place, wherever they can find that have the best ingredients, they get that and then they actually break and they make the actual fragrance. That's what they do. That's why they charge so much, because they're charging for their time that they use to put in to develop this specific fragrance. Had to get on the plane and fly to Europe. Has to get on the plane and fly to Dubai. Have to get on the plane and fly to Cambodia. Have to get on the plane, right, and fly to the UK, whatever. Get on the plane and fly to Germany, right, just to go and get some essential oils, the best essential oils from here. And then let's say, for example, if it's 20 ingredients and each ingredient is $1,000, that's $20,000 for those ingredients. They have to make some money somehow. So you follow what I'm saying? So it's a lot to learn, man. So so I'm not gonna talk about domestics because you got the point with domestics, but I'm just saying point of reference. I'm just saying like so if it's a domestic and this domestic is in a place that has the best climate and it goes well with your body chemistry, that's the best one for you. I'll take a fragrance that costs 500. I'll take a fragrance that costs $45, $50 for me over a fragrance that costs $500 that don't last that long any day of the week. And people give me compliments all the time any day of the week. Because you got to understand something. When people buy a fragrance, they're buying it's not just a fragrance, it's validation. They're buying validation. Somebody put their fragrance on and they walk past somebody, and this dude can be an ugly guy, right? He walked past a beautiful lady probably never spoke to him. He says, "Hey, how you doing today?" "I'm doing pretty good. You smell good." "Oh, for real? Thank you. Appreciate it." He just smiled. You follow what I'm saying? Go to aisle 2 in the grocery store. White lady says, "Oh, you smell amazing." "Oh, appreciate it. Thank you." By the time he went home, it's only been 3 hours later. He got 30 compliments already of people telling him how great he smelled. 20 of those women said, "Here's my number. Put it in your phone and call me." You think he's not going to wear that fragrance again? It's a validation. It's a validation. So of course he's going to go. Of course he's going to go buy that fragrance again. Why? Because look at all the attention he got. Look at the compliments that he got. Just like I say, women to get their hair did. I tell them I'll tell them, you look great. You look amazing. I'm not trying to flirt with you or anything like that, but I just tell you, because the reason why they get their hair did is because they want people to say that they look good. Let's be honest. I say, "You look nice today." "Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Likewise." We just keep it moving. You follow what I'm saying? Likewise, people put fragrance on to see who would actually say they smell good. What kind of compliments would they get? "You smell great. You smell amazing. You smell like you're a business owner. You smell like an entrepreneur. You smell like success. You smell like you just came from an office. You smell like you know what I mean? You smell relaxed. You smell peaceful, right? You smell expensive. You smell arrogant, flamboyant. There are some fragrances that have like what is it? What is the name of that word? Flamboyant. You got some fragrances that have like that flamboyant type of flair where you put it on and you just walk around and it may just make you think like you that dude. You know what I'm saying? And people can say it's arrogance. I mean, but people are who they are, man. So that's pretty much it, man. This you got Professor Smell Good, man. Listen, you guys have been great. I think that's pretty much it, man. I think that's it for today, man. I love coming in here, man, and doing my videos. I was going to sit at that end right there, but I'd rather sit at this end here. She got Professor Smell Good, man. Guys have been awesome.